Clarissa Ward just went undercover in Syria and spoke to an American who's fighting on the same side as al-Qaeda. He is warning Americans to expect attacks on U.S. soil. Clarissa is with us from London. Good morning.
Good morning. He is a young Somali-American who grew up in the Midwest, but 2 years ago, his whole life changed. Angered by the endless gruesome videos of the Assad regime's brutal crackdown in Syria, he said he felt compelled to join the fight.
When I was living in America, I was just a normal kid, like sports and whatnot, growing up, watching movies and these things, so just like any other American.
But he is not just any other American. He is a fighter for Jabhat al Nusra, a rebel group that the United States has designated a terrorist organization. He calls himself Ibn Zubayr, and he insisted we disguise his voice.
Who America sees as a terrorist doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care for what America has to say about Jabhat al Nusra or any other group, for that matter.
Zubayr told us he narrowly escaped death when his house was hit during recent U.S. airstrikes in Syria. The U.S. has claimed the strikes targeted terrorists plotting an attack on the West.
Could you honestly say that nobody who was in that house had the intention of attacking the West?
The better question is, can you tell me honestly that these hits won't create people that would want to come and hit America?
With more than a dozen U.S. citizens fighting inside Syria, it is a concern shared by Washington. What happens when these fighters come home?
There is no threat from us if we don't get hit.
That sounds a lot like something Osama bin Laden once said.
It's the case. We look up to the Sheikh.
You look up to bin Laden?
Of course.
You can understand that that's really hard for Americans to hear.
Why?
Because of 9/11.
We have 9/11s every single day in the Muslim lands.
That narrative that the U.S. is waging a war on Islam is growing across the Muslim world.
Would you support a terrorist attack on the United States?
I wouldn't consider it a terrorist attack. What I consider a terrorist attack is these Tomahawk bombs being shot from wherever they're being shot from and killing innocent people. So I wouldn't, there's no tears being shed from me if something happened in America.
One interesting note is that Ibn Zubayr did not join Jabhat al Nusra right away when he went to Syria. He started out with a much less radical independent group. And what's clear from my conversations with these men is that the longer they're in Syria, the more extreme they become. Charlie?
Clarissa, thanks.